And we're back.
Woo!
With the ARG Michigan Eternal Games Regional, whatever it was.
Who's a what's it?
I'm Dustin. Lorraine's here.
Woohoo!
Special guest, Kyle. That's
Yeah,
my name on the screen.
The other player. We get to look at us both screw up.
This is a very unique experience for all, I'm sure, assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
So yeah, this was the top 8 game in the ARG event. For me at least, my plan here was just to try to play a relatively defensive game, to the point of not even throwing attacks and combats where I thought I could get away with you card powering and then not giving you something to a reason to mastery and put a ball or whatever. So that was all I was thinking before we started playing.
It was hard for me to come up with a game plan for this because originally, if you leap and kick to 2, there's nothing I can do about that. So to sort of play around that isn't something I can do.
Sure.
So it's just hope I hit a bunch of energies. And
Right.
it goes pretty well for me, especially early. But we'll see what happens here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was actually another thing I did throughout most of the tournament too. Was hold off on leaping kicks a little bit. I would either just review them and leave them in the deck, or kind of stack them for a couple turns maybe.
You lost 2 real early, and the third one it didn't matter by then.
Sure.
So by that point, just talking ahead here, I could tell that you were still going to be able to get to 2 at some point, but I tried to do everything I could just to keep you at 1 for as long as I could.
Yeah. Piccolo does not want to be at level 1 ever, so yeah, if you can delay that as a person playing a Piccolo deck, it's only going to help you win.
Get 1.
And I'll take the first turn.
I definitely have some fond memories of that opening hand.
Yep.
And the thing about this Blue Krillin deck is mostly just there. We see it right there. It's Blue Awakening Drills, the card I want to get into play, and just kind of bleed out a bunch of non-combats, and then use that to build whatever setup I need. You can pitch dominances, and Blue Battle Readiness is a good thing to pitch just for blue key buildups and open a hole and go.
Yep. I'll also say I think this might have been the other match. I think there were 2 on stream where I drew ball 4 first turn and kept it for 1 or more turns, waiting for the opponent to play something down.
So you did get a leaping kick here.
Dragon Clan.
And that's never fun to see.
It's the funnest to see. What are you talking about? It's just a party all the time.
Yeah, these first couple turns definitely weren't bad. 3 theoretical balls in the top 6 cards is hard to complain about.
So you definitely just kept the ball 4.
Mm-hmm.
Now ball 1 is big for my deck just because, without any modifiers like black or orange, those destructive discs are only about half as interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even Krillin's power is just so much more non-threatening. You don't really care about taking 4. You super care about taking 5 a lot of the time for crit purposes.
Even though I know that you've got good options to take it back, I'm just thrilled that ball 1 is on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see me screw that up later too. I think at this point, I was hardwired to believe, Krillin does 5 cards.
Yeah, I think we'll have to explain when that happens.
Yeah, it'll come up.
My dominance spread in this game was pretty sad. Most of the drills stayed towards the bottom of the deck, so I just kind of sat on that dominance forever. And I never drew another Awakening Drill to
Sure. I'll say, otherwise, you want to stay at level 1 for
and
I
definitely didn't want to go up to 2 anyway.
Yeah.
I can't even tell what's in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
These early turns I don't remember quite as much as the last couple.
Yeah.
For all the things happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was another slow-ish game. Both kind of just building board and
right.
Eyeballing those 2 leaping kicks.
It's nice to not really have to be too afraid of that.
Okay. Tear and a confrontation and something else.
I remember this one now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a physical block, wrist block. Looks like.
Okay. Yep.
And this is a case where I sort of know your deck enough to know that it's not especially offensive outside of a few cards, so I can pretty safely come in on this confrontation and just hope it doesn't get sphered and kind of just plink with a power and the blue terror here.
Yeah, you don't have a ton to lose
Right.
by entering this turn, and especially you'll get to lead on a Krillin power if you want to, or do whatever else. But like you've got a ton of options. Like you technically be a card down. I think you only had 3, but it'll be a pass anyway.
And as long as I use my card power, you'll be afraid to do anything.
See what I do. I honestly don't even remember when my first combat was, but yeah, I'm not going to attack.
So we still
that would have been a
waited-
cool hand
waited a bit.
to fight on, but
All right, there I go.
so here we go. First combat of the game.
Yeah, so I still found the other confrontation, and you did not have a great hand here. It's a lot of playable cards, but
Yeah. Nothing to stop you from,
Right,
the thing
I
you
see-
said, plinking it a little damage and maybe taking a ball or two. Again, same thing I said before. Any attack that I perform after a Krillin power is just one more
Right.
likely chance that one of my balls will be stolen. So
Without seeing my hand, yeah. I don't want to give you the free crit, but at the same time, I'm not sure if I have the block left in hand to just make sure that Optic Blast doesn't run me over. I think that's what ended up happening here. Yeah.
it's on to me. We'll see what my first action is. The safest, most boring thing would be a Namekian Mastery, so maybe I'll do that, or I'll throw an attack.
I think that's what you did. I think you just mastery, just play it out.
Nope,
Just
just going for it.
before
Again.
I can use a card power, and I even take it.
Bunch of endurance, but I got what I wanted, so. This might ultimately be a Krillin power.
That's usually what I'm thinking pretty early in the turn. Just get that
Sure.
effect going.
Float it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's never fun to see the endurance right on
Yep.
top, but it's unrealistic to think. I mean, even like we were talking about earlier, it doesn't have ball 1 anymore. It's not going to do 5 even at full damage.
I think this was the turn that I
Yeah, I
screwed
think
up.
you just took 5.
Yeah,
there, right?
so I took one more damage than I was supposed to, which resulted in ball 2 getting flipped over. So then I basically just asked Kyle how he wanted to resolve it.
We sit here and talk for 20 seconds about how to fix it, and we
Uh-huh.
just put it back the way it should have been.
Yeah, exactly.
Just talking about
So do I
it.
put it on top? Do I shuffle it in? Do you want me to just leave it where it is?
That's a
Yeah,
definite
one of-
game,
one
game
of-
warning or loss for both of us.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Well, in some of these other matches, we've seen much more egregious
Yeah,
things than
that's-
that.
I saw the one with the double combat.
Yeah. Double turn.
Yeah.
There we go.
Fix it.
Problem mostly solves.
Just get it right.
There's the random mastery for anger.
My favorite.
There's my play. That's like
it's a
the
good
thing the deck
card.
does.
It's really cool.
To force the discard out of your own hand and then double crit.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only time in the tournament I was able to pull that off, so I was pretty happy about it.
I say if there was a match you would want it to
Yeah.
get it in, this is among the ones that would be like pretty high priority. Debating your other ball
Right.
capture.
It's either hit the
Get rid of
clan
Dragon
or
Clan would be
take ball
cool,
7.
but Ball 7's also real good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think that was the better choice.
There's too many things that can go wrong as long as you have access to however many Dragon Balls are left.
Especially against Dustin's obnoxious deck.
Well, plus I'm pretty sure I've got more attacks in hand than just hoping to crit
So
for the other Ball
now
7.
you're Krillin powered, and
Yeah.
a real bummer that that's not going to stay in play, but got a little more anger. If I remember to get it, I didn't. Or never mind. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm just an idiot.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're using all the masteries.
My brain is sludge today, apparently.
Sludge brain.
Yeah. So at the time, I knew that you had no blocks in hand, and I could just take this choke and then ensure the
Be
crit.
like a board full choke. Yeah, exactly.
What's funny is I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I think my initial thought was, oh, I could take Destructo Disc because, why not? Forgetting that it wouldn't crit. Luckily, I catch it here, and I go for the choke.
Yep.
Choke, choke, choke.
Yeah, this was a bad turn for me. Oh, no, I did get the anger. I knew I wasn't wrong because Piccolo's power.
Yeah.
So I hadn't ticked that up immediately. So I'm double stupid.
Hooray.
At least it didn't get banished. There was some decent stuff in there.
Taking a Ball 7 on your own turn is always so difficult.
Yeah, right, yeah.
All these cards, I'd love to get that Awakening Drill back, but
yeah, you definitely can't go.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, you definitely can't go full board, but you can pepper one in there.
Sometimes, right. You
Yeah.
put the 1 in and just dare them a little bit. All the non-combats I wish I'd had.
Yep. Yeah, head knock's so good. Like there are going to be plenty of cards cycled out of builds when Set 5 comes out, but I don't think head knock's going to be one of them.
Do you run Maximum Will in your deck?
Yeah, three copies. Like,
So
that thing is essential.
Right, that boggles me. I see a ton in the Namekian list that don't run Maximum Will, and it's like the head knock, only kind of better in a couple ways.
Yeah, like it's just like a side, like it's just a slightly different version of it, but it's really, really good.
So good. That's the only energy attack I run in my physical build.
Yeah, it's legit. That card is A-okay.
A-okay all day.
There aren't many times that you're upset that it comes into your hand. It'll do something pretty big.
Yep.
Ah, bummer.
There you go.
Yeah, so I just kind of
I think I think there you were thinking like, do I go for the board card or just build a really good combat hand? There's my mill.
There's your Ball 2, which you take anyway, just to start building for assistance drill or whatever.
Visiting.
Yeah, and that's the downside of confrontation into it and having to leave visiting in their hands because it's common.
Yeah, and then this Ball 5 kind of like screwed up maybe a little bit my thoughts on taking Ball 2 just to play it into play. So I'm pretty sure I ultimately do it, but
I think you do also.
yeah, obviously a little worse when I'm already at level 2, ready to be dropped back again than if I just had the anger.
Assuming you don't come into combat here, which I'm pretty sure you don't.
Yeah,
you're sitting at 5 anger, and I've got a blue head not coming, so you're probably not guaranteeing yourself that anger. Battle the pink dice.
Pink dice that
That was
everyone
a good
bought
Gen
at Gen
Con.
Con.
Right.
There's some quality
You're
dice at that
welcome.
tournament.
That guy sold us a lot of pink dice that day.
I found them while you guys were in the Gen Con tournament.
So at some point, I'll probably complain about having not drawn enough non-combats at appropriate times, not be able to build a board. But I did just set up 3 combat cards for that last Namek 7, so it's partially my own doing.
Good job.
Good job, me. I mean, but like we were saying, if you top deck 3 non-combats, then go into
yeah,
an
you definitely
opponent's
can't
turn.
do that. I like the 2-1 ratio.
Yeah,
That's the sweet
I'll
spot.
do that a lot of times.
No, I'm attacking.
You got a good
Look at
hand
me.
here, yeah. You know it's coming, so yeah, you're guaranteeing yourself the level.
Yeah. A disc here would have made me cry, but luckily that didn't happen.
No. I mean,
Get sad.
again, you knew it was in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'd side up the one card I might have kept from the last turn. I don't think I had any.
Yep.
You do keep the Namek too.
You're about to fuck up my clever quick shot.
Yeah. I don't know. Looking at your level 2 power and a hurried quest is terrifying.
Sure.
It's a severe no-win situation for me looking at that. So something bad's going to happen.
Sadness channel. It's coming.
Yeah, all I really, like, I'm even willing to take some lumps this combat. All I really want is to just still be at level 2 by the time the turn ends and hopefully control more than 0 Dragon Balls.
Yeah. Sort of been a nice place to have drawn a neck beam.
Yeah, no kidding.
But at some point in this game, I didn't even consider neck beam just because you've enough blocks and you got so much going for you that just trying to put any resources into it is going to hurt me.
Sure, yeah, this would have been the combat to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because between the, like, keeping 1 or 2 cards if you have Namek Smooth and Strill out,
Just
and,
can't
you
deal
know,
with it.
stacking a block or whatever on top, like, you can build up a decent line.
I'm not just going to throw a naked block or a naked attack through and have it hit.
Sure. Take my 4 back to ball 5 again.
Like, the main reason I took that quick blast out of your hand is to make sure that you couldn't steal my ball 1 and keep my attacks at 5 life. You could
Right.
put it back if you really wanted to, but
Yeah.
like, you were more optimal to play that the way you did.
Yeah, and it was like, even with you controlling it right now, it's still kind of against my plan to remove ball 1 from play, because I'd super love to cover up, you know, an eventual ball 2. So I want it to be on the table as I continue to, like, try to rebuild the bald state.
Here, I use my card power to negate yours, essentially.
Yeah, this is a thing I had to think about a ton, because
That's
yeah,
a tough interaction.
while it's on, yours triggers before mine does.
Right.
So in cases where, like, you already control ball 1, you know, you get whatever
could-
ball you want, and then I get the
But you don't-
crappier one back.
But you don't have any.
Yeah. And this, right now it doesn't matter, but it definitely, like, later combats, I definitely had to think about it a bunch. And in fact, one of the other combats I declare in this game, a big part of the reason was just to Piccolo power before you could do
Right,
something.
that was the big turn that happens later. I don't think there's a way I could have sequenced this level 1 properly, because if you waited until after you used your power, you just wouldn't throw another attack.
Right. Still a really cool manipulation. Like,
Yeah.
makes you play around it.
But it's also just kind of a big sign that Piccolo 2 is better than Krillin 1. So it's about to do a lot of work.
Sure.
Do work.
Just put back some combat stuff. That rejuve is the point where I decided I'm going to try to kill him this game. If I can do it. I was like... Piccolo power with the ball for Mill.
I remember thinking that. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yep.
I can live with that. That's always nice when you can betrayal a visiting before it ever gets activated.
For sure.
I must have liked whatever else I had in my hand. I mean, I'd also be thrilled if you just got off of level 2, even to go up, so not letting you gain anger wasn't really an issue.
Yep, that'll be combat.
Woohoo.
Woo.
Get that visiting.
There's some board.
My Trunks ally that I'm sort of irrational in using it. I just really like it.
Yeah, it's a really cool power.
Yeah.
Was there any place in the tournament where it, like, was clutch, or is it just like, I mean, because it's always a good buffer.
Well, I'll tell you what happens later when it happens.
Okay. Oh, I think I know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, we'll get there.
I mean, it's always it's a hard to really quantify it, but you'll go into turns and then sometimes it'll turn a dead draw into a live one or vice versa for the opponent.
Yeah.
And sometimes it does nothing.
Yeah, and you get more information on your opponent's hand either way.
I think the only reason this came about is I tossed a battle readiness into the deck just kind of to work with Awakening Drill, and I wanted a couple allies. And I had Bowman Kami were the ones I wanted, but I figured I could squeeze a third one in there, and it was Trunks.
Here's my turn to play a bunch of board.
Yeah. I mean, I knew that Namek 4 was coming. I'm not really shocked.
Jumping up anger. Rejuven that knee block. Go Heritage Drill.
It does make energies really terrifying.
Yeah, stuff gets scary. Even just at level 2, that plus 2. It's an aura drill, basically, with the possibility to deal more damage as they level up.
I finally get my favorite card, Blue Metal Drill.
So good. Again, here's the point where, like you said, like hitting with Neck Beam is a much tougher proposition.
Right.
So I was just like looking at the kind of hands that I'm stacking up for myself at this point. Yeah, and you'll just put it at the bottom there because like
can't tell what I kept here, but
oh,
love seeing you draw that ball 1 though.
Sad ball 1 is sad.
Here we go.
They're already in play.
No. Anyone else has looked at the names? That was me.
Oh.
I didn't even notice.
I appreciate that. I wouldn't have noticed either. Like I probably wouldn't have looked down there again until. I think we're in a combat.
Yeah, not the hand I wanted to see, but
you're coming.
No blocks in it at least.
Sure. That dig was real special.
Yeah. And again, I can't sequence this disc better, just
sure,
because I know that I'll lose ball 1 at some point. So I'm happy to take ball 4 off of you. But that was the fusion there. Yeah. That'll leave you with the dead assistance drill.
Blue Fear returns.
Yeah, that's the other one. I think you even leave it. I think what happens, you leave it to me, and I'll just use it to get my ball 1 back here. You take the disc, which was the right play.
Sure. Disc will also be a crit,
right.
So plus the damage, which I definitely don't need to take more of.
Yeah,
of course, now it's back in the life deck. But
this is that meat of the game where I took a good lead that one solid combat we had, but then you get up to level 2 and it just starts kind of going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that little plink. I'll heal a bit and you'll take a bit every turn. It goes farther than you'd think sometimes. Dirt of Krillin power, which definitely would have hurt.
Yeah.
Like, giving you the last ball would have sucked real hard. There's a ball 5 still lurking over there.
Right.
Lurk.
I definitely had to take the heritage drill off of you looking at all those energy attacks in your hand. I guess it's the 2, but they start to get pretty big and pretty critty after the heritage drill, so it's better to not even deal with it.
Yeah, guaranteed after that dig.
But yeah, so now as it stands, I can let the onslaught through and block the maximum will. Hopefully that's what happens. I don't even remember. I'll see which one you actually pitch to your card power.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's the one. That's the one I'm eyeing to steal ball 5.
Yep. Yeah, that hurt real bad. It's anger that doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. rejuvenated key build up there with the ball 5. I don't think that was the right thing. I think that was wrong.
Mm-hmm. You say, yeah.
So you're just gonna go find
Really
another
just
card to hope to
really
pitch
just
the card.
exactly fishing for any styled card so I can use both attacks.
I mean, it's still. I can't be upset here at this point in the game, holding on to 4 Dragon Balls to your none.
Sure.
It's still not the position I want to be in, just because his level 2 is so good.
And you're ahead on life deck too. Like,
At this point,
not by like a crazy amount, but definitely
after this
by a
level
bit.
2, maybe not anymore.
Right,
It's
yeah.
probably pretty even. So yeah, and then I pitch the fear because I absolutely cannot let you steal Dragon Balls from me. And I can't discard for the card because I absolutely need to use that to block. Pretty sure there's nothing really great here. It's going to be the blinding and the neck beams.
That's
Which
no
aren't
no
going to
love.
last.
Another pretty rough turn.
Yeah.
No balls on my side.
Yeah, he's going for it.
That's right. Got to deal damage.
Mm-hmm. Hit your third leaping kick finally, but
Yeah, there might. I don't.
that's not a
think
declaring
there.
hand, really.
Yeah. Especially because I can get Heritage Drill back on a pass,
Mm-hmm.
so that's probably what's going to happen here.
I can't tell if I have any cards left in my hand. I don't think I do.
Yeah,
so.
I don't think so either.
So it is possible you could come in and just block my 1 attack, hit me with the 1 attack, and hopefully I can't do anything else.
Sure. And yeah, maybe that is what happens. Let's see. Yeah, this might even be the turn. Or at least one of them.
No, so I remember some more things about that turn. I mean, you might come in here, but this isn't the turn.
Sure.
You're checking for your drill.
So it's also an option during combat too. Like if I decide to pitch that for Piccolo power, I can do the exact same thing on an aggressive turn. So, all right.
All right, cool.
Go time.
And
we
then
go.
there it is.
And this is at I would say this is at least the first time where I got to Piccolo power without worrying about Krillin. So
And like a
drop
genius, I
Heritage,
forget to
steal
use
one.
Trunks, which was I'd been playing a pretty solid tournament up to this point, and then just completely forget that, and it hurts.
Yep.
But
And just like that, we out.
yeah,
So long.
that's why I didn't remember much about this
Yeah, I was gonna
combat.
say,
This
yeah.
was short-lived.
But yeah, we end up either damage neutral, or I probably did a little more to you with combined
Just a
the
little
Piccolo
bit,
power and the
yeah.
card draw. Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm looking for here anymore. I'm probably just getting an idea of how many spheres
Sure,
and
yeah.
confrontations and stuff are left.
Yeah. How many good things are left in that life deck?
Mm-hmm. So it's still pretty close here too, and we're
Right.
both getting low.
You're looking for your own like.
Yeah,
Oh, I got
how-
in the name of in the
fears, discs,
chokes.
chokes. Right. One of the things that I only run 1 choke in the deck. I probably should have run a second instead of like a blue slash.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny thing that our decks share.
Yeah.
We were both running 1 choke for that tournament.
because that visiting is definitely key in the turn.
Pass read you some endurance. That's not a bad thing. I'll take ball 6 to get my smoothness threshold back.
Yeah.
And rejuve for an anger. Why not?
Woo.
This is where I should be looking to enter combat, just to control ball 1 and get ahead of things like having ball 7 stolen.
Yeah, as little of a thing as it seems like, me having ball 1 before another big combat starts is a big fucking deal.
But I'm also looking at, I had to drop a mostly useless non-combat, and coming into a 5-card hand at least, it's kind of scary. And looking back, especially knowing what happens, probably should have come in here.
Sure, yeah, like hindsight and all that. But yeah, you have to...
I can't really remember what's in my hand here.
You have to nut up real hard to attack into a 2-card deficit. Like, sometimes you have to do it, like... And you won't even necessarily always know, like you said, until, maybe after the fact, that was your last stand.
It looks like you have a disc and maybe a head knock.
Yeah, I definitely keep the disc for next turn.
I can't tell what that 3rd card is.
Because I think that what is coming up is that you pass here, and then my next combat is the combat that basically ends the game. And for me, like, I'm pretty sure it was a really solid hand anyway. Like, we're about to find out. But on top of that, even if it had been a little worse, I probably would have attacked on almost anything, because I wanted to enter on you and Piccolo Power immediately for ball 7.
Right.
To put myself, that amount of life cards that I could convert was going to put myself out of 2 disc range. So you could disc twice in a combat and I wouldn't die from it. Because I was in the neighborhood of like 10 or 11 cards, I think, before rejuving from like a Piccolo Power or stacking with
even
stuff.
Though that what happens in the future is worse than what would have happened here. Looking at this now, it's not optimal for me either.
Sure.
I can come in, I'll get hit with your card power, all my attacks are going to be stopped, and I'm probably going to take some damage.
So many thoughts.
Maybe I should have thought hard of who I was against and realized that they weren't going to pass unless they just drew the worst hand. But usually that's the kind of thing you back. I was like, well, they'll pass on me, and then I'll come in next turn.
Yeah.
There's always
one
next
more.
turn.
Yeah. But yeah, this is the point of the game where I was like, well, I really wish I'd drawn more non-combats. Had some board.
Because, yeah, that, like, on the combat that I'm about to enter on, that literally would have been my only action if you had visited for, like, time or something.
Yeah.
Like, if you had gone defensive instead of offensive, I was like, oh, all right, I'll heal some, and then that'll be that.
Since we'll get into that now, you definitely come in on that, and I'm visiting, and I think long and hard about time, but I'm also looking at the fact that the decks are going in the wrong direction.
Right, yeah. One is getting bigger, and the other one is still getting smaller little by little.
And since you're visiting before drawing your hand, and especially when you forget to use trunks, that you just kind of hope your deck will give you a solid and give you some things to work with, and then be able to toss
so
2
defensive.
discs.
Look at those blocks.
Every sort of block you can imagine, and maximum will.
But yeah, that's easily enterable, especially with what looks like about 7-8 cards left.
I'm also not sure why I didn't take the onslaught there. I think that might have just made me fucking up. Like,
I mean, especially with what else you drew, you would have just been short a block, and you have a
well, yeah, I didn't know that when looking at it,
yeah,
but yeah, like
true.
I don't know what else I was hoping for. Like, I think I just brain farted and put it back at the bottom.
Because it's hard to because you've got ball 1 and 4.
I've got 5, 4,
No,
and
I've got
7
1 and
right
6.
now.
Six.
He's got
So
one
it's
and
because
6.
they're
Yeah.
they're
So-
just off screen. I was trying to remember which ones were where.
Yeah.
I can see
Kyle's
Kyle's.
got
I
balls
can't see
that'll help me if I steal
Right.
them, and if he
Ball-
takes mine,
I've got balls I wish I didn't have.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
I wish I could make them disappear.
If he could have transferred control of those to me without triggering their powers, like
In an
that would have been,
instant.
yeah, exactly, the optimal thing to do in this game state.
So yeah, here let's just look at my discard pile and think real hard about time versus destructive disc, and seeing only the one attack in hand, I'm saying just all right, my deck will do me a solid and give me a block.
Yeah, and that's
Any kind of block at all.
Sure.
And it does, but all at the same time, it turns out being 2 more non-combats.
Right.
To spoil it a little bit even further, the 4th card, had I remembered to use Trunks, would have been a blue slash, which would have been great.
Yeah, the random ball sets that some players run and just like kind of even just like in everyday beatdown decks and stuff like that, like that stuff confuses me a little bit because like I'll see people run like 3 and 5 and even to a lesser extent 7, just kind of randomly out of nowhere. And like, yeah, they'll benefit you when you put them down, but that is also a liability for the rest of the game.
I don't think I've ever run 3 and 5 in a deck that didn't run the full set.
Yeah, for sure. Like those are the ones especially so.
Yeah.
Like I understand why people just throw random ball 7 into a deck.
So
but at the same time, it can do the opposite. Like sometimes it'll win you games just by dropping it, and then sometimes it'll totally lose you a game because it gets captured.
Yeah. I know I run 1 and 6. I'm pretty sure I run 7 too. I don't remember.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, it got milled off like earlier. Like it got banished because mine was out.
An earlier build had Dragon Radar, and I took that out eventually. But so I was just kind of like, well, I like 1 and 6. Have 7 in there too. Why not? It'll win games.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not like that's more of a coin flip in my mind. Like I agree with you on 3 and 5. Like I don't think I'd ever run those.
Yeah.
In a deck that doesn't
they
run
do
the
so
full
much,
ball
and they
set.
can be such a liability.
Right.
Like it's dangerous.
Like ball 3 is literally like, all right, they're just gonna cherry pick a hand to murder you with. So.
Ball 5 does literally everything, all the time, forever.
I think you're still trying to plan this combat out here, and that's why I'm just kind of looking at your discard pile to kill
yeah,
time.
I think I might have
Oh,
declared and am contemplating what my first action is
Right.
going to be.
I don't even know if you might still actually be sitting on the actual declaration
Yeah, I
because
don't think you
visiting's
have.
still
'Cause,
out. But
yeah, Kyle hasn't drawn.
running the
So
numbers.
probably, yeah, just still doing more math and
Crunching.
I'm
all
going to
those
confirm
numbers.
how many discs and chokes I think you might have left.
There was at least one opponent that was really thrown off by having only 1 choke. And I guess that sort of worked to my advantage because they just assumed I had more.
Oh, do they like scout maneuver or
Yeah.
something for him?
I know you've got more chokes, Scout.
Ah,
Sorry.
just kidding.
Yep.
Right.
Enjoy that
That's,
whiff.
that's the old right. Scout maneuver your spheres. Hey, I don't run spheres. Idiot.
I'm
Also,
not
who
a
scouts
monster.
spheres,
Right.
but sure.
That's an old Z game.
Yeah, no kidding. So
Like,
there,
that-
there it
that's
is. Let's say
happened-
you're thinking,
That's happened to everybody once too. I was like, well, I got to get the spheres out of his deck. I don't run spheres. It's like they laugh, but on the inside, it's like, yeah, I just won.
yep.
All day contemplation. My
Gotta
land.
make that decision.
Well, it's such a non-threatening hand that Dustin has too.
Yeah, and again, I think you look at it across the table, like one attack
Uh-huh.
and all the defense in the world. Like, I think you made the right call.
Yeah, I don't think it was wrong, but
Hindsight is
the
20/20.
fact that I had to block that and then the card you drew with your card power and then your level 3,
that's
it
the thing
got
that is
ugly.
about to happen.
all the shit went down.
Uh-huh.
Too exciting.
Anyway, and I didn't even think about this at the time, but I could have dominance here, not for any specific reason, but just to get me under 7.
Sure, yeah.
Get you under 7.
And in this combat,
clearing your board.
specifically,
Okay.
If
well,
it had been in your hand, I would have thought
Right, yeah,
about
exactly.
it, but
Uh-huh.
not thinking of it. Oh, that's the
that
top
it's just
card
gonna,
on his deck.
sure, that it's just going to show up in this turn.
I'm pretty sure what happens here too is I forget to Trunks and then just kind of like internally scold myself. So what I do is I look at the top card of your deck, which is just
Yes, yeah.
is just as illegal, but I did it anyway. And it was you didn't know it was Namek 1, and I just not even think about your power or even really anything at all. Just like, all right, put it on the bottom.
I didn't say, yeah, all right.
So that's just like I don't want to win anymore.
Sure. Yeah. A comedy of
All right,
errors.
things
Yeah.
are happening finally.
So yeah, there's my 3. So I can't Trunks anymore. But there
There it is. You're like,
Yep.
So wait.
Well, look at the top card of your deck.
But
It's still illegal. Don't worry.
man.
no, but like that doesn't even make sense because I don't. Whatever.
The point is, like, him kind of
No.
like
I didn't wanna-
jokingly looking at my deck.
Right,
was
I didn't
like,
want to like really cheat to
Yeah.
look at my top card, and I'd already drawn my hand,
Yeah.
so I could sort
Man,
of use
that's
Trunks
something.
without. But it just made things so much better for me.
Uh,
Well, the worst, I went into this tournament telling myself I'm gonna play really solid. I'm gonna do this like a real tournament, and
Just kidding.
up to that point,
sure.
I'd done real well.
Flying straight. You just crashed and burned now.
Yep. This only occurred to me a couple hours later too. It's like, did I really do that?
Good thing we've
I think
got
easy
it on
thing to
tape.
forget though in your build specifically, when you're like
Double
considering
guess.
you're not running stuff to 2 allies really other than like you're not running a full suite of overpowering attacks
No,
and
it's
stuff. So
one
it's just
one
like,
blue battle ready.
yeah, exactly. So sometimes Trunks is going to come into play like less frequently than
Right.
like a full on ally deck or whatever.
But it's still a pretty serious and stupid and silly mistake.
We've got a second McGrath brother.
He's
Mike and
here
sneaking
to
into
watch
the end of this-
watch my demise.
Yeah,
I already missed all the parts I wanted to know.
I know. I was gonna say this is not the fun part.
Why is it not?
This is the looking at discard piles.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. The end
I
of
don't
game,
think
like
the mic's
what
not
quantities
turning
of what
on.
things are left.
Can you not turn on Mike's while it's recording?
Maybe not.
I don't know. I'm pressing 2.
Guess not.
Oh.
That's fine.
Talk loudly.
Scream.
I love the toolbox blue battle readiness just as a deck building concept.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really neat idea.
It ended up, I think it took up more space than it was worth, but I mean,
But
the
if you could use
dream,
that Trunks,
right? Well, the
Look
dream.
at that. Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
Look at that choke.
The choke he
God
wouldn't have
damn.
gotten if you hadn't illegally
The
trunked.
funny part about it is you're looking at my board now, and I'm right at 7, and you're seriously altering your sequencing of
Yeah,
thinking about
yeah. I
it.
totally changed. But in fact, I
You're just laughing about it now. But the thing I was going to say is the dream is to have Blue Mantle Drill and either Awakening Drill or Battle Readiness in play and do the Bulma trick.
yeah.
And I decided I needed
Because
Kami
ultimately,
anyway,
I do
just
still
because it's
Steel
really
Ball
good.
7 here. I'm pretty sure.
Which I think is the right thing to
Yeah,
do.
because if nothing else, I was like, all right, I can bait out like maybe he only has discs and he'll have to mastery a disc away to stop the choke if it's stoppable.
So yeah, I ended up with my 3 cards. It was 2 non-combats and a blue crouch.
Yeah, your last hand was atrocious. Like, it was.
I was happy to get the blue crouch, but
Right, yeah.
Because we're waiting on. Wait.
he's taking Namek 7. He's just kind of
Oh,
doing his
okay.
Namek 7
I
things.
think the other 2 cards are just like nutted up endurance. But
Yeah.
Let's see. Which won't matter a ton on a disc.
No.
No, maybe it's just 2.
That's
max
right.
rolls
Because Piccolo
or-
crits with his level 2 power, right?
Yeah. Never mind. I take it all back. I'm smarter. I was smarter then than I am now.
The idea being put things without endurance that when they
Right.
get dissed off, they're not as important.
Yep.
There's a disc.
That was the third disc.
Yeah, the other one. Yep.
But at this point, I'm not out of it. There are ways to survive this combat, I feel like, but not considering what dumb little thing happens later, and I'll say it when it gets there.
Sure.
And even then, I'm not really planning for a game attack for the next turn. I'm just hoping to get out, and then
Right. Yeah. And at the same time, like I have a world of theoretical possibilities awaiting me. Like.
But by taking 7, the choke is stoppable now.
Yeah. My options there were either not
Right.
steal a Dragon Ball and.
Right. It was either take Namek 7 or unstoppable choke.
Yep.
Because if you don't, then I'd card power and then block your next attack and get ball 1 back.
Yep.
Even if it's a choke.
Even if Dustin had then used Piccolo, you would have captured 1 before
Right.
you captured something.
Do you both have 5 cards in your hand?
I visited and he had a assistance
Yeah.
drill.
Those are 2 very big hands
Yeah.
for combat.
Two discs, a blue crouch, and 2 non-combats. Yeah, right. So that whole game. I was like, I want to draw non-combats. And I even prefaced this saying why it's not really the deck's fault as much as it is just the way I played the game. But,
Sure.
Well, when you illegally do stuff.
well, that was not
Yeah.
even...
Neither here nor
Again,
there.
my kind of ideal scenario there was
So
that
you
you were going
probably
to pitch a
weren't-
disc for it.
You
but-
probably weren't expecting me to just hard block that
No,
either.
I sure wasn't. That crouch made me real sad.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you
You
do
could
remember
put
to put it on.
the- I
He
do.
gets there.
I do.
Yeah, we've refined it.
Good.
And it becomes painfully relevant soon.
At the very least, the maximum will is incoming.
Uh-huh.
Pew, pew, pew.
I also there late remembered to gain my anger from pitching a knee block for Piccolo's power, which I did do intentionally to put myself within range of level 3.
Wonder why it's
on a
taking me so long
mastery.
to catch it, but
Yeah.
so I should have noticed it there when I was looking at my discard pile. My pathetic disc for 4. You know, I mean that's the weakness of the deck. It does a lot of neat stuff, but on that end, it is not black or orange Krillin. There it is.
We go.
Boom. Salvaged.
Yeah, I'm strongly
Which,
considering.
which spherable block do I want to
Yeah.
use?
Well, yeah, and I'm strongly considering chump blocking it
Yeah.
with that just to make to theoretically put myself at level 3 and give that a
Okay.
crit effect on hit. But ultimately, I just take the damage. Which would have been an amusing,
That would've
probably
been-
pointless play in this
Right,
state
I
of the game, but
Wouldn't have even considered
still a
it.
funny thing to do.
You could have drawn a card and hoped for something.
Mastery time.
Now you're ready to go up to 3.
Woohoo.
Or not, but probably. Let me think about it for another 2
Everything else in the
minutes and
turns
then I'll get
take
back
forever.
to you. Yeah. Definitely happens before the end of the combat.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will lose 2 life cards on a theoretical max will hit if I level up now, which I'm pretty sure was the choice. But I was like, all right.
Yeah, so right now my plan is I top deck that crouch. I have 4 life cards on top with 3 endurance. I can tank the max will and then get out of the turn and hit you with this other disc.
And that was ultimately why I leveled up there too.
Yeah.
Because now I can Piccolo power, which on hit will mill your endurance with ball 1, and then I can put
I'm totally ready to just take these 7 stages like it's nothing, but you have ball fucking 1.
Yeah.
Which will kill off that entire endurance bomb, and I hate it. So I have to toss this disc
'cause
to
you
stop
even-
your attack for 1 life
Right.
card.
Yeah. Because you even take the stages, I think, and then you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, right. I'd forgotten the ball 1. It's like, all right, 7 stages.
Uh-huh.
And like, oh, you say 1 life card. I was like, God damn.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
it is, and then we'll ultimately roll it back because you forgot the life card of damage. But like, never mind, forget it.
You had drawn that other disc.
That's right.
It would have been a blue slash, but
If he had actually trunked
if
it
I'd had the
correctly.
blue slash, I
like
could have
he
done
would-
everything differently.
Yeah.
'Cause I would have just been eyeing that blue slash to mastery against the maximum will and taking this attack no problem.
How many dice do you have left, Kyle?
At this point, probably about 7.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's that. I die a little bit on the inside. But I do get ball 1 back.
So you took ball
I
1
was
for your
wondering if
trouble.
You were going to remember that. So you're just dead in hand right now, right?
Right, I got nothing.
Yeah, it's got dead
So,
cards.
so I get my 4, and there's that blue lifting drill that I badly would have liked. Yeah, so now I have exactly
Say that's
3
3
cards.
cards,
left, and that's
so it did just enough anyway.
Uh,
Man, what a game.
ugh.
Still, though, not a bad game.
No,
just
it
a
was-
really
it was
weird
fun.
one. Uh-huh. Yeah, lots of strange things. And
Mhm.
like you said, Piccolo 2, just a couple turns of that
Yeah,
turned this into like, I was losing to like, all right, I'm sort of winning. And then I
right. Even
pulled it
without,
out.
even just having a bunch of neutral combats otherwise.
Yeah, Rejuve plus mill.
Yeah.
It's real solid. All right, well, that's it. So,
So, yep. Congratulations, and
sure. Yeah, that's it for round 8. You can check out the other matches, top 4 and finals, and all
this
the
was the
other
best.
ones.
You just don't even watch those other 2 games. This was the one to watch.
Yeah, there were definitely. I mean, the last one is actually particularly pretty bad. But what are you gonna do?
Right, that's how the
Sometimes
game
that
goes.
happens. All right, cool. Thanks for watching.
All right,
Woo!
see you next time.